Hello and welcome back to Scouching's 2019 NHL Draft Recap Series. Today we're looking at the Stanley Cup champion St. Louis Blues, and frankly they weren't super busy, so there isn't really that much to say about them. But I do like some of the names that they did take off the board. Leading the way at 62nd overall was Nikita Alexeev, who was one of the oldest first-time draft eligibles available this year. He was absolutely devastating around the net, and I think he has really underrated skill for a center. I think he's got NHL potential, but I'm not really sure of what his ceiling is, but I do think this was a good pick for St. Louis, especially when you consider how many picks they had. They used a pick on Colton Ellis, who stops a pretty decent amount of pucks in the QMJHL, and I mean, you just won the Stanley Cup, so shoot your shot. Who knows? Goaltenders are goaltenders. At 155th, they took Keon Waschuk, who is a really hard-working center. He certainly puts 100% on the ice whenever he's on the ice for Mississauga. I didn't see a tremendous amount of involvement when goals were scored at even strength, and while he was a good skater, I didn't really see much outside of that. So if he can round out the rest of the game to go along with the mindset he brings to the game, there might be an interesting player here, but I'm not super optimistic. The Blues then went out and drafted goaltender Vadim Renko out of the MHL, and I haven't seen him play hockey very much, if at all, this season, so I don't really know what to say. I don't have that many issues with the pick. He stops a lot of pucks in the MHL. We'll see where he goes. You can hold on to his rights for a while and see what happens. And with the Mr. Irrelevant pick at 217th, St. Louis took Michel, who played on a very poor Val-d'Or team. So hopefully as that team improves, he improves along with it, but I never saw anything with Michel that particularly jumped off the page to me. But I mean, at 217th, there really isn't much you can say. You just take the guy you like and we'll see where St. Louis ends up in the future with them. And that's really all for the St. Louis Blues. They just made a few picks and they're pretty high floor, low ceiling options, so good on them. So if you've watched Scouching reports before, we're taking the same rating system and porting it into these videos. The number is going to indicate the overall potential I see with the draft crop as a whole, and the letter indicates the likelihood of the group reaching that potential. With the St. Louis Blues, there's a lot of high floor, low ceiling picks here. I think they got a strong 3B. I think Nikita Alexeev could be an NHL contributor. He's got probably one more season in the QMJHL before hitting the AHL, and I think his skill and play around the net will take him a ways. Waschuk certainly works hard and skates well, so we'll see where that takes him. And outside of that, the other guys are just kind of wait and see players, and at the end of the day, you won a Stanley Cup. So if you liked the video, click all the buttons you see below me so you never miss another one. If you really liked it, you could support us on Patreon, where you get access to private spreadsheets for drafted and undrafted prospects, as well as plenty of other goodies. Or you could pick up some merchandise from the Scouchwear shop. All the links are in the description. So that's all, and I hope you join me in the video where we break down the Tampa Bay Lightning.